Okay, today we're going to do Module 5, Lesson 7, and our objective is to share and critique strategies for varied addition and subtraction problems within 1000. So today we're going to take a look at some problems and see how different strategies can be used to solve the problem. Here we have the problem 697 plus 223. We have two students' work, student A and student B. Let's take a look at student A's work first. Student A used a number bond to solve this problem. The student noticed that 697 was very close to the next 100, that it only needed 3 more to get to 700. So they took out 3 from the 223 and had 220 left. They circled the 3 and the 697, which made their 700, and then they added the remaining 220 to get their answer of 920. Now let's take a look at student B. Student B used the arrow way. So first, student B did the same thing student A did by adding 3 to the 697 to give him the next 100, which was 700. Then from there, he continued to add the hundreds from 200, so the 7 plus 200 gave him 900, and then he finished off by adding the tens from 223, which was 20, to give him his answer of 920. Both ways work with this problem, and both ways are pretty easy. If I was going to choose which way I would use, however, I would use the number bond in this problem, simply because the number bond uses less steps, whereas the arrow method has quite a few more steps. But it doesn't really matter. You need to use whichever strategy you know works the best for you. So here we have 864 minus 380. We have two students' work again, student C and student D. Student C, very clearly they used a number bond. Student D used the arrow method. However, one student did their work incorrectly. Student C got 444 and student D got 484. So which one is the correct way to do this? Let's start by taking a look at student D's work this time. Sometimes the arrow method can be easier to use than a number bond when subtracting. So let's see what student D did. He started with his 864, and then he began by subtracting his hundreds, 300. So 864 minus 300 does give you 564. Next, he decided to take out 60 from 564. So 564 minus 60 does give you 504. Then he continued to get down to his next 100 by subtracting 4 more to give him 500. Now he subtracted another 6. This way, the 4 and the 6 together gave him a 10. So if we looked at how much he'd subtracted so far, here's 60 plus 70, which leaves him with 10 left for 80. So 500 minus 6 gives you 494. And then he was able to finish off by subtracting a 10 to get 484. This student's work is correct, and it's one way to solve this problem. So now let's go back up and look at student C's work and see what went wrong. Student C looked to be trying to make 100, the next 100. So they took from 864, they took out a 20 because 380 plus 20 will give me 400. However, you can't use this way, you can't use a number bond this way when subtracting. So what the student should have done was to find a way to easily subtract 380 from a number. To do that, this student should have actually taken out 400 to subtract 380 from. Because when we're subtracting, we need to make sure that we are subtracting out the second number. And we want to do that with numbers as easy as possible. So 380 is a 10. So it would be very easy to subtract 100 from 380. So what he should have done was taken out the next 100 for 380 would be 400. So I want to take out 400 from 864. That would leave me 464 left. Now, remember, I bring down my minus 380 and do my subtraction. So 400 minus 380 would give you 20. Now, we would have to combine the numbers that we have left. So we need to add up 464 plus the 20, which would then give you your 484. So sometimes, when we are subtracting, the arrow method is the easier way to do it, rather than using a number bond. If you do use a number bond, remember, you need to make a number that you can easily subtract the second number from. A lot of times it's helpful to go up to the next 100 or the next 10 to do your subtraction. So now, I'm going to solve this problem, 546 minus 330. If I look at this problem, I am subtracting, and the number I'm subtracting is made up of hundreds and tens. So I'm going to choose the arrow method to solve this problem. So I'm going to start by drawing 546, put an arrow, and I'm going to subtract my hundreds out first. Remember, you can use a number bond to break up this number so that you can clearly see your hundreds and tens separately. So 546 minus 300 would give me 246. Now, 46 is greater than 30, so I'm going to simply subtract out my 30. 246 minus 30 would give me 216. So my answer in this problem would be 216. I could have used a number bond, but remember, sometimes it can be tricky to use a number bond when subtracting. If you choose to use a number bond, you want to take a look at this number and go up to the next 100. My next 100 after 300 would be 400. So I would take 400 out of 546. That would leave me with 146 left. Now I bring down my minus 330. If I subtract 400 minus 330, I would get 70. Now, I'm going to take my outside numbers, my numbers that are left, and I'm going to add them up. So 146 plus 70 would actually give me 216. But, again, in this problem, the arrow method would be the simplest method to use. You are going to solve this problem, 490 plus 275. You may choose any strategy that works best for you. After you solve the problem, please write at least a sentence telling me why you chose to solve it using that strategy. When you're done with this, you're done with the lesson for today.